Hey guys, what's up? I'm looking a little bit crazy at the moment, and that's because my makeup is only half done, because today I'm going to be playing with the new Naked Cherry palette from Urban Decay. While I was away in America, this beautiful package right here got sent to me and I haven't had a chance to play with it until now, so today is the day I'm going to be trying out the palette. Okay, so here she is in all her shining glory. I am obsessed with this packaging. It's kind of got like a metallic underneath, and then it's got like a little layer of like clear packaging on the top. It feels really hardy and durable. Beautiful packaging. I love like all the rose gold writing. I think it looks so beautiful, and then when you open her up, it is just full of beautiful earthy colors, browns, pinks, purples. You've got shimmers in there as well. I'm so excited to play with this. You also do get a brush with this as well. It's double-ended, so you're technically getting two brushes with these. I've not actually tried any Urban Decay brushes, so I'm not sure how this one goes, but we can certainly give it a go today. So inside the palette you have 12 eyeshadows, and of those 12 eyeshadows, 5 of those are shimmers and then the rest are mattes. So you're getting a good mix of both mattes and also shimmers in this palette. I think it's beautiful. If you guys have been following me, you'll know that I just only this year, I think, yeah, this year was the first time I've ever used Urban Decay shadows, and I about died. They were so beautiful and easy to blend. I think I used the Christian Leanne palette with Urban Decay and it was just like amazing. So I am really excited to try out the new Naked Cherry palette. It's funny because the Naked palettes are so popular, yet I think the reason why I haven't tried them, oh actually, you know what I have tried? I've got the mini Naked Heat palette and I love that palette, but I've not tried like a full-size proper like OG Naked palette before, and I think it's because upon first glance at the eyeshadows, honestly, a lot of the shades kind of are not similar, but it's very much one vibe going on. So for me, I look at this and I'm like, okay, it's this one sort of vibe going on, which as someone like myself who's always looking to create like new crazy looks, this palette doesn't immediately jump out to me as something that I could create multiple different looks at. Like, yes, I could create the same sort of color palette in here doing different styles of like makeup looks. So I could do a smoky eye, I could do a cut crease, I could do a halo eye, all those sorts of things. Certainly possible with this palette, but you're not really moving out of these sort of tones, which is great because you don't have to worry about navigating the palette. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can kind of go, okay, so here are my shimmer shades, here are my transition shades, here's where I'm gonna like use this color to deepen up the crease, things like that. You kind of have only a few options, and that's not a bad thing at all, because like I said, for someone who isn't as experienced with makeup, or I don't know, you're just a beginner, or like you don't know what to give someone as their first palette, a Naked palette is great because there's not much room for error. You know they're going to blend well together because the colors aren't so different from each other. So for example, these two shades here, they're obviously different colors, I'm not blind, but they're going to blend beautifully because they're not so drastically different. So a beginner is going to be able to blend these two colors in together like a dream. So with that said, let's just dive into my first Naked palette. Naked Cherry, I'm very excited to use you. I hope you do good things. Okay, so I've just gone ahead and grabbed some of my absolute favorite blending brushes and eye brushes. These are all from Sigma and they're all from their E range. So all of them start with the letter E. They do have worded names, but I usually refer to them by their number and their code just because it's a lot easier for you guys if you want to go and purchase them. If you do want any of the brushes mentioned, I always link all my brushes down in the description, and I also have a discount code for you guys with Sigma, so I can get you 10% off your purchase. You just have to use the code CHELSE10. So having said that, I'm going to jump on in now. I'm going to take my Sigma E37 brush and I'm going to go in with the shade Hotspot, and I'm going to just pop this all over the lid to kind of set my concealer. Now that the concealer is all set, I'm going to take my Sigma E40 brush and I'm going to go in with the shade Feels. I love the names of these colors, it's so cute. I'm just going to run this through the crease. Ooh, this is blending nicely. It's a pretty color. It's like a really soft, I want to say like a plummy shade. So pretty. And now I am getting a fair bit of kickback in the pan from these colors. But as you guys know, I'm not afraid of a little kickback. That blended so nicely. I got a little bit worried that I went in a little too heavy-handed with that one, but look how nicely that's blended out. So I am getting a little bit of kickback in the pan from this, but you guys know I am not afraid of a little bit of kickback. I sometimes just kind of find that is a good sign that they're nice and pigmented. I have a little tiny bit of fallout on my nose. I haven't done my concealer yet, so that's not fazing me at all. Okay, I'm now going to go in with the shade Juicy because this looks kind of like a nice color to put in the like as a transition. Yeah, that's way more pinky. I always blow my eyeshadow out as well, like past my tail of my brow. I just find it kind of lifts the eye and like really pulls it back and makes it look really quite sleek. So that is blending like a freaking dream right now. I'm gonna go in with shade Devilish on my Sigma E25 brush, and I'm just gonna pat that on the outer corner of the eye and then run it through the crease. I love this brush because it's really good at like getting right up into the crease, but it's also fluffy enough that it blends out at the same time. It's one of my favorite brushes for like doing cut creases and stuff because it really blends out right into the crease while still being precise. Okay, I'm swapping over to my Sigma E35 brush now. I'm just going to take up a little bit of feels on my brush again, and then I'm just going to kind of blend everything out, just making sure there are no harsh lines. Okay, at the moment it's looking a little bit crazy. So I'm going to grab that Sigma E25 brush again, and I'm going to go in with Bling, and I'm going to run this underneath the lower lash line. When I'm doing my lower lash line, I want to make sure that it meets this shadow here, so it's all like one consistent flow, if you know what I mean. Try not to get it too much in here, but if you do, it doesn't really matter because we're going to go in and clean it up anyway with a concealer later on. Now I'm going to take my Sigma E45 brush. Now this is a really small kind of tapered off blending brush, but the tip makes it really perfect for getting right into that crease while still being fluffy enough to blend it out. Similar to the E25 brush, but just a little smaller, so you're going to be able to get more detailed. I'm going to go in with the shade Privacy and just very lightly touching, like very lightly. And then I'm going to just pop this right into the crease. You can see how that's just defined it just that little bit more. And if you're a little bit too scared of going straight in with a dark color like Privacy, you can totally dip a little bit of Privacy, a little bit of Devilish, and then go in and see how that goes for you. Don't be afraid to mix colors. I think that's the best part about these palettes, is that all the shadows blend so well into each other and they're quite similar in shade, so you don't have to worry too much about mixing colors or putting colors close together because they're going to blend out really well. Okay, going back in with my Sigma E25 brush, I'm just going to take a little bit of Bling and Devilish, mixing those together and just popping that through the crease. Okay, and now finally I'm going to go in with my Sigma E40 brush, and I'm just going to clean up the edges with this. Okay, so now we're going to be cutting the crease, and for this I'm going to be using my Sigma E65 brush. This is a tapered, I think it's meant to be for eyeliner, but it is small enough that it's going to be precise enough to really cut that crease, but I am going to be using my little trick today. You guys should know my trick by now. So I'm just going to pop this straight onto the middle of my lid, bringing it down. I'm not taking it too far this way though, because I want it to like taper off. And then I'm just relaxing the hood of my eye so that it can kind of cut itself. So you can see how the concealer has transferred up onto my hood of my eye. That's just made my life so much easier because now I know exactly where I need to be cutting my crease. See, like, look, that's already sort of like a perfect line, and I haven't done anything. I've literally just let my eyelid do all the work for me. This side is not so much, it's getting there. I just need to kind of relax. If you're finding it's not transferring that well, don't worry, you can always even them up with a brush, which is what we're gonna do now. So I'm gonna just look down into my mirror, always helps. This is a really good mirror, by the way. So I also find patting can be a little bit more precise than dragging, especially if you have a little bit of a looser lid or your lid is more mobile. And then don't worry about this section too much because you're going to clean that up with eyeshadow anyway, so really try and focus the product in the inner corner of the eye and don't really worry about the outer corner. Okay, so now that we've got our concealer sorted, I'm going to go in with the shade Young Love, and I'm actually going to try out the Naked Cherry brush. I'm going to be using this small denser side because with shimmer shades I really find really dense brush is going to pick up the most product and it's just going to kind of be as pigmented as possible. Fluffier brushes are better when you don't want as much pigment and you want to blend things. Dense brushes that aren't so fluffy, they're going to pick up a lot of product and they're going to place a lot of product, if that makes sense. So I'm going to use a dense brush. You can use any dense brush that you might have, or your finger is good too, but it's just a little bit harder to get into the crease. I'm going to start by just packing this on. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the shade Bang Bang. I just think this would be such a beautiful inner corner. I've also just kind of dusted off my brush a little bit. I just wiped it on my sweatpants, but you can do whatever you like. I'm using that same brush because it worked a treat in getting these shimmers really packed on. And I'm just going to do the same thing, just lightly press that on. Okay, so one of my obsessions at the moment is cutting my crease with some glitter. I have been using the Stila Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadows, which are amazing, but Urban Decay also has their version of this, and this is their liquid Moondust eyeshadow. And oh my god, you guys, I've been dying to use this. It looks so freaking stunning. Look how beautiful that is. I reckon it will just go so beautifully with this shade. Oh. This is so freaking stunning. Okay, so what I'm going to do is literally, this is like a really fine kind of brush applicator. And I have the shade Solstice. I think that's how you pronounce it. I can't actually read this with the glitter. Solstice? I think that's what it's called. I think this is going to look so pretty. So basically what I'm going to do is just kind of really carve out very, very lightly where that cut crease is from the concealer. We're just going to amp it up with a bit of glitter. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, so pretty. So you can see how it's just like giving that crease a little bit of a pop. And because it's like glitter, it doesn't really matter if it's not perfect. That's the best part about it. Doesn't matter if you stuff it up a little bit. There you go. I'm actually obsessed with this. I want to try a makeup look with this as like the entire lid because I think it's so pretty. Woo! Yes. Okay, amazing. Okay, so now I'm just going to quickly pop on some winged liner. Said no one ever until now. Literally, ever since I discovered this thing, I'm so obsessed. The Quick Flick is everything. So literally just going to pop on some liner real quick. Literally, just pop it on. Here we go. This eye look is actually really pretty. It's not something that I would normally go for. Done. I still honestly can't believe that that is that easy to do wing liner for me now. Changed my life. Amazing. Love it. Alright, I'm going to pop on some lashes and I will see you in a quick second. Okay guys, so that is my makeup all done. I am loving this palette. I love the way that these shades all blended out. I don't know why I'm so late to the party on Naked palettes, but I feel like I have to get more. I really, really like this palette. I think this is great for your everyday gal. I know that there are some crazy colors in here. They might seem crazy to you. To me, they're like so wearable. But even though they are like plum shades, there's like sort of earthy purples, pinks, There are some beautiful, beautiful shades in here, and they're very, very wearable in all honesty. You do have some golds in here as well. It's a very wearable palette. It's nice and warm toned. A lot of the Naked palettes are actually cool toned. So this is a beautiful palette for people like myself who love the warm tones. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with this. I think that it turned out really lovely. My final thoughts are it is a good palette. It blends well. I would recommend the Naked palette to people. Is it my favorite palette that I've tried? No, not necessarily. I do think it performs really well. I do like the colors. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't really look at Naked palettes as like the most creative palettes, and I certainly like to wear makeup for the creative aspect. Now don't get me wrong, I definitely have my days where I just want a simple smoky eye, and this is 100% going to do that for you, and I will 100% be reaching for this when it comes to doing a beautiful plummy cherry coloured smoky eye. I just find that palettes like this, they don't really have too much wiggle room. There's only a few sort of tones and looks that you can create with something like this, but that is awesome if you're just a makeup lover and you want to wear this on the weekends, but you want it to be simple. This is 100% what I would go for. If I was going to create some really crazy like artistic look, if I was in the mood to like have a play with makeup, I don't think I would reach for this. This is kind of like a more wearable, user-friendly sort of palette. You do have some beautiful gold shades in here. They are amazingly pigmented. Like, look at that swatch. That's just like me rubbing my finger in there once. Like, the quality of the shadows are amazing. They blend well, they perform well. Look how freaking pigmented they are, like, honestly. But I think the whole appeal of these palettes is that they're supposed to be user-friendly, easy to use, blendable, all that good stuff, which it 100% is. Like I said before, the tones of the palette are very sort of one-toned. I don't really know how to describe this to you in the best way. I don't think I'm doing a very good job of it. I do not dislike this palette, don't get me wrong. I think it's beautiful, but all I'm saying is this sort of palette is designed like this, I personally think, to be user-friendly, to be easy to use, and in doing that, a lot of the shades are sort of similar. They're sort of similar. They don't vary from each other a lot, not a crazy amount. It's very similar to palettes like your Morphe 35O palette or something like that. Did I just get shadow on me? No, I need to wash this off. It's very similar to eyeshadow palettes like your Morphe 35O palette, which is one of my most used palettes ever, which is why I probably will be reaching for this as well. It's one of those palettes that you know that it's going to blend beautifully because the colors are all sort of in the same family. That's the best way I can describe it to you. So that way you know that if you want to use these two shades with that shade, you can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong. And you can use any of these shades, mix them together, they will blend well. They will look nice next to each other. Every single one of these shades is going to look good no matter which other shade you choose to pair with it. It's going to look good, and that's the whole point of this palette, is to be able to say, if you like those cherry, plummy, pinky purple shades, then this is the palette for you, because you can't go wrong. Like you literally can't go wrong. And that's why people love palettes like this, like all of the other Naked palettes, because they just want to pick their color scheme that they love and just be able to use it. They don't want to think about it. Whereas some of my most loved palettes ever is a palette that can be really diverse. And I don't think this is one of those palettes where it's designed to be super diverse. It's supposed to be these cherry shades that work well and blend beautifully. And that's amazing because they do exactly what they're saying they're gonna do. They blend well, they're pigmented, they look beautiful. I'm a happy camper. I think they look really, really good. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. I do not dislike this palette. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm not overly excited by like, oh my god, I can create so many amazing looks with this like I would some of the other Urban Decay palettes that I do have, such as the Urban Decay Kristen Leanne palette, because I mean, look at this. You have so many looks that you can create in here. You could do blue, you could do pink, you could do green, like it's crazy. You have so many options, but that's because that's what this palette is all about. It's about being creative. The Naked palettes, what I've sort of come to find is that I know a lot of people collect like all of them, which is so good, but I feel like the Naked palettes are designed for you to pick the palette that has the most shades that suit you and your personality and what you like, and then it's user-friendly, it's easy to navigate the palette, It's not hard. It's just very one-dimensional. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. All I'm trying to say is I really, really like this palette. I think it's beautiful. It clearly performs well. Everything blended really well. I didn't have any issues with it whatsoever. And yeah, that's all I can say really. I love the packaging. The packaging is so freaking stunning. It's definitely a display piece. I probably will have to pop it up on my vanity somewhere. So yeah, if plummy, cherry, purpley, pinky colors are your thing and you love them, you have to get this palette. Like, it's a no-brainer. But if you were looking for a palette that is going to be very versatile, I don't think the Naked palettes are certainly for you, but maybe they are. Alright you guys, so that is it for this video. If you want to see the other makeup products that I used on my face for this look that weren't mentioned in the video, I always post my makeup looks over on my Instagram, so you'll be able to head on over there and check out the caption to see what other products I used if you're interested in recreating this look. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up and let me know in the comments if you've tried this palette, if you own any of the other Naked palettes, if you guys think that I need to get more of the Naked palettes, because I literally just have this one and then the Naked Heat, but I only have the mini one. I don't have the full one. The full one looks beautiful. So let me know your recommendations. I hope you guys have an awesome day and I will see you in my next video, if not sooner. Bye!